morning, everybody. Mestre Sukuri coming to you from Tokyo, Japan. Mestre Vibes, episode 61. Guys, as I mentioned, from here on out, I'm going to be delaying the public release of my podcast for a month. Hopefully that'll help to inspire people who want to listen to what I say when it comes out to sign up for our Patreon and help me out so that I can keep doing what I do. Check out the link. And if you're interested, just as little as $3 to $5 a month, you can hit it. It sounds like I'm always selling. Why am I always selling? It's crazy, right? Like I'm always trying to hustle. And then I realize that's because I'm a capoeira teacher here in Japan. A couple of things that happened. One nice thing that happened yesterday morning, Mestre Val Boamorte, who's a mestre from Bahia who lives in Australia and has been living there for, I want to say almost 25, 30 years, about the same time I've lived here in Japan. And he's a very good friend. Yesterday morning, he gives me a call and he says, "Hey, Mestre, I'm going to be on Mestre Boagente's live podcast tonight, and I'd like you to join, and if you can, just pop in there." And it was fantastic because when I got on there last night about 10 o'clock, 10:20 Tokyo time, they were super cordial and really good and kind, and I really enjoy the relationships I've built. One of the interesting things is how I became so close to Mestre Boagente. That's one of the questions that were asked, and I told the story about how I ended up becoming Mestre Boagente's adopted son. Not legally, but he tells everybody that I'm his son, so I might as well let that continue because it's really fun, and I love him like a father, like a capoeira father. So, the story is pretty interesting. About, I want to say, this goes way back. About 7 years ago, Mestre Boamorte, Mestre Val's younger brother, out of nowhere, contacts me and says he's having an event in Fukuoka, Japan, which is another island in Japan, and he invited me to go down there and to be part of the bachizado that he was having down there. And that's case in point, that's where I met Contramestra Danzarina and her lovely students back in the day. So I went down there and we just connected in an incredible, good way. Old school. You know, it's funny. Maybe things are changing, and I know you cannot be open and kind with everybody, but when you run into people who are as sincere as you are, it's really easy to connect, and maybe even more when you're older. So Mestre Ne and I just connected really good, and we kept contact and became really good friends. And about 2 or 3 months later, he calls me and he's like, "Oh, my big brother, Mestre Val, will be passing through Tokyo for one night. Can you give him some advice of where to stay or anything?" Because he didn't really, he doesn't speak Japanese. And I was like, of course, he could stay with me. My wife and I opened our house for him without even having met him. And I said, if he's your brother, Mestre Ne, then he's my brother too. And this is something that I don't know. I'm sure it's in all cultures, but I'm going to just reflect on it as I come from a Latin American culture. And the hospitalidade, or as we say in Portuguese, or ser buena persona, be a good person in Spanish, is to open your heart and your home. Mi casa es su casa, right? In Spanish, like, my house is your house. And Mestre Val came, and I took him to, at the time, it's closed down now, but they had this karaage shop. Karaage is like Japanese fried chicken, but they adorned it like fancy with different sauces. This is way before Korean chicken had started and becoming popular, but it was like a Japanese style. It was really fun. And I took them there, and we pretty almost put them out of business because we ate so much, but it was fun because it was all you can eat. Super good time. And I connected with Mestre Val. And I think about the little things, right? When Mestre Val was coming through here, when I picked him up at the airport with Takafusa, a really good friend who I mention a lot, we pick him up and he's like, "Hey, look, if there's anything I can do to help or if you need me to teach a class or anything, I'm here. Thank you for opening your house." And I said, "Master, I already set up a workshop for you." And his eyes were like, wow. I said, Mestre, I already set you up with a workshop. I don't know how many people are coming, but all the proceeds are going to you. And he was really touched because this isn't something that a lot of people do. And he and other older generation mestres always say about how we call cariño, right? The affection, and just thinking about each other and putting each other in perspective, understanding that we're all, just artists, and Mestre Val is an incredible artist, and just that we're all trying to get through, life as capoeira teachers, and it's never easy. I've talked about many of the challenges of me being a capoeira teacher here in Japan. And of course, he in Australia also has many challenges. And he did a workshop for us. It was fantastic at the end. He was so grateful. And I said, the truth of the matter is being just kind, being, considerate, and thinking about others and understanding where I'm coming from. At the time, life was very challenging and difficult for me, and financially and with the academia, just as, there's never an easy time. That's why I'm always hustling. That's why I'm always telling you guys, join my Patreon. That's why check out my YouTube. Maybe I can monetize it because $10 here, $20 here for capoeira teachers, it's a big thing. That's why I'm always so grateful to everyone on Patreon, because you guys really don't know how much your support helps. And Mestre Val, I gave him all the money from the workshop. He was super happy. And I said, yeah, but at the same time, he paid his own ticket, as a transit ticket going on his way to Brazil. And my students got an amazing workshop from a legendary capoeira mestre and one of the best musical composers. Mestre Val is a creature unto himself. I've never seen anyone produce so much music and never release it. He has his own little setup studio like I do in Australia, and he's got to have hundreds of songs that he's recorded, original songs, composed, recorded. It's insane because he'll send me and go, oh, here's 10 songs I just did. And I was looking at YouTube and I was like, wow, Prince, one of my pretty much my favorite musician of all time. He was a really high functioning artistic person, right? Creative. Mestre Val constantly puts out new music. Guys, he's got to have a vault of 200-300 songs no one's ever heard. It's amazing. And that's so inspirational. And he mentioned something that was really sweet too. I always talked about this back in the day, cariño, affection, right? Mestre Boagenchi always says, now that he's 80, he's always like, Sukuri, the thing for me and for the older mestres more than anything, as they're up in age, is just that affection, that cariño, that consideración, that consideration. And he always says, just the fact that I think about him every month and I send him emails, and even if it's just an email with a heart and I love you, bye. And he says that's such a big thing. And he says, because a lot of the old masters whose students, they rarely do anything to emotionally support their masters. And maybe it's because of ego, but I guess when you get to a certain age, for example, I'm going to be 53 next month, and Mestre Boagenchi is 80, so it's easier. We're more stable in our masculinity, I guess. We're more stable in our mental states that we can be affectionate towards each other on a very loving relationship without making it weird. And maybe it's just a confidence thing, or just we're too old or too tired to deal with what society thinks is good and bad, and we'd rather deal with what we care about each other. So Mestre Val yesterday said a really sweet story that really just hit me. Years ago, when he was having a hard time with his academia, he had ordered some capoeira pants for kids for his batizado. And I sent him about, I can't remember the exact number, but it was quite a bit. At the time, I also was aware that he was having some difficulties and challenges at academia. Guys, there is no shame in understanding one simple thing. Teaching capoeira, unless you are tied to an NPO or in a certain situation where you're getting a lot of grants or whatnot, it is challenging. Mestre Val, was going through, challenging point, and I just said, hey, don't worry about it. This is a donation to your event. I hope the kids have a great time. I hope you can make a little bit of money and continue what you're doing, because I support and respect so much what you're doing. And he was so happy, and he brought this up yesterday in the interview, and that must have happened, 5-6 years ago. So it was nice to be thought of, that cariño, that affection that he gives to me, and that loving feeling that he gives to me is something that sometimes transcends, right? In Capoeira we say, vale mais nossa amizade que dinheiro no bolso. Our friendship's more valuable than the money in our pockets. And I think that was just a really incredibly nice thing, and I'm glad that everything came out really well. And, he's still there, producing music, moving forward, teaching, and I'm so happy for him. To be able to rejoice in your friend's growth from mastery to mastery, that's one of the greatest things that happen. Of course, I love all my friends, and I'm happy when they're successful and moving forward. But when another capoeira master is able to teach or teacher and survive from capoeira, man, wow, it's amazing. And I always think that's just a beautiful thing, and it was so lovely to share. Mestre Boagenti also pointed out that, how much I work, and he always points out how hard I work, and he loves using what we do and using the videos from here. And I was laughing because he put up a video, and I had of the kids kicking, but on that video I had used Instagram, and it was like a hardcore hip-hop song, so maybe it was a little out of place, but I don't mind, because I know where I stand, and the kids know that I love them with all my heart. So today, I guess it gets a little bit interesting at this point, maybe because today, July 2024, and I'm laughing because I'm realizing that so many things are going by so fast, and it's been 3 years since I published Capoeira Fire. And I was reflecting on that last night in bed, actually after I got off the live about, what time, maybe 11 o'clock. I couldn't go to sleep because I was just recharged talking to Mestre Val and Mestre Boagenti. And I was just in my head thinking about my second book, because Mestre Val and Mestre Boagenti both participated in the interviews for that book. And it really made everything like really good energy last night. And one of the things that I was thinking about as I reflected on my book, I thought about the 11 best practices that I wrote in my book to keep in mind. And I want to just go over those and add a little anecdote today so that people can feel good before the weekend starts. Always think, yesterday was yesterday, today is today, tomorrow is a new day. I always tell my kids this, and I say, guys, you can't live in the past, and you have to move forward. And tomorrow's a new chance to do something better with your life, because tomorrow is here. If you're able to live each day and have a new day, then it's a new opportunity and a new way to move forward. So think about that if you're feeling a little bit stressed out or a little bit down or a little bit out of energy. Tomorrow's a new day. Try to get a good night's sleep and solve your problems tomorrow, or figure out your new way of doing things. If capoeira is one of the things you want to do, then maybe tomorrow's the day you start. You can do anything. If you made mistakes in the past, that's in the past. Learn from them and move forward. Now, number 2, give back to your community. As I mentioned, just being able to give back to Mestre Boagenti on a regular monthly basis, being able to help out a friend in need, even when it's difficult for me, being able to give back to the community, to the kids that I teach here is always a blessing. As I mentioned, at the end of the year, we're going to be giving back or starting to give to Smile Train Madagascar with the new charity that I'll be working with. And giving back comes back to you a million times. So this weekend, when you're sitting there, if you see somebody in need, or if you see somebody who can benefit from a little bit of your assistance, doesn't mean just money, but even just attention. Maybe a grandma, grandpa, an aunt, or an uncle who might be alone and you want to give some attention. Give back, because a lot of people gave to you. This is part of life and the part of just really being able to move forward and really feel good about what you're doing. Number 3, you're responsible for all your mistakes. They are the lessons of experience, not failure. When we make mistakes more and more, and be aware that just getting older doesn't mean you get better. I think you just get better at avoiding mistakes and recognizing your mistakes if you're growing, right? And hold on, that's the timer in the back. Give me a second here and I'll jump back on. Sorry about that. It was just the timer going off because I'm cleaning and I left some bleach to clean out the place here. It's funny. Every day I have to clean the academia, and it's a good space, and it's very, very cluttered. It's got so many things that I do here, my upcycling, my hobbies, my little relaxed space, my little bar, my t-shirt, press, everything. And I just feel really funny because if I thought about it, I'd probably put in easy 10 hours a day on average, 6 days a week working as a capoeira master. And it's part of the life I chose, and I'm not regretting it. Like I just said, it's not a negative thing, to move forward. And it's not a mistake. We learn from it. Every year, I learn more and more how to become a better master, I hope, and to move forward. And a lot of this is just because of the mistakes I made. Number 4, it's so much easier to be positive rather than negative. Last night, I woke up. I stayed up pretty late because I just couldn't go to sleep. And this morning, my wife woke up pretty early. And it was funny because she was like, "Oh, sorry for waking you up so early." And I said, "No, it's good. Thank God we're in a position that if I want to, I can take a short nap today around lunchtime if I want to, before the day gets started." And I realized that I'm really blessed with that. So why wake up upset? "Oh, I'm tired. Oh, why did you wake me up? Oh, I don't feel like it today." Because that actually tires you out so much more. And just waking up, smiling, having a cup of coffee for me, and getting started with the day is so much easier than being negative. So being positive is just mentally and honestly, it's just easier. Number 5, appreciate those who support you, return the support in kind, and always strive to grow. Guys, this is something we have to practice every day. It's, so many people around me are so supportive. Build that community. Have those people around you that appreciate what you do and appreciate you moving forward. If you feel like you don't, then take a moment, sit down, and think about those relationships that you can reconnect with. People, I've always said right now, what is it? 1 in 5 Americans don't feel like American men don't feel like they have a friend to talk to on an emotionally deep level. Guys, if you had a friend from back in the day that you could do that with, try to reconnect. Social media's there. Appreciate those people in your life who are going to be supportive and give you good energy. Get rid of those toxic people and grow. Grow as best you can. Number 6, integrity is not easy, but someone has to do it. More and more, I feel that because I've stuck to the path of what I consider to be right and wrong in capoeira, that I've been able to move forward, that I've been able to grow better relationships. You know, somebody asked me one time, how often do I travel in Japan to do workshops? And honestly, I don't get asked. People can say whatever they want to say about my personality, about how I do things. But again, who's asked me? I'm going to the United States next month to do 3 workshops for 3 well-known masters. I think here it's always that thing that people worry about how they're going to look in comparison to others. And that's a very Japanese thing. Ooh, I should write that note down and think about that for my next book. But yeah, being the person I am and people, you know, calling me and say, hey, Mestre Boa Gente, Mestre Acordeon, Mestre Val, Mestre Ney, they all speak so highly of you. I'd love to have you here. Wow. That comes from integrity. So keep your faith in what you're doing. If it's not working out, it might not be that you're not doing it right. It might be that you just need to restructure your plan, but it doesn't mean that you have to change what you think about what you're doing. Number 7, never waste your own time. Improve and create. Guys, like I mentioned, Mestre Val, he's a monster. He's always producing, which inspires me to do more. Maybe I just can't sit still, but I'm always doing something. The other day, I wood burned a table. I got some things done here. I make glasses. I do upcycling. I printed T-shirts. I've got something like 150 T-shirts I'm bringing to the United States. And, you know, guys, if you're in the States, if you're going to be at one of my workshops, support me by joining up. If you join Patreon before I go, guys, I'll have something for you depending on the level you join. But this is all things that I'm doing. Today, I'm going to put up a picture, and I'm thinking I want to put up some QR codes of all the different things I do, like Patreon and YouTube and Instagram, and really try to get people to become involved in what I'm doing. Why? Because it's never easy, and nobody can play capoeira alone. I need my community. So I'm not going to waste my time. I'm going to improve and create, part of which is the new book I'm working on, 25 years reflection of living in Japan, the Gaijin. And also some brand new tracks. My really good friend, Marquinhos, he's going to be recording some guitar and for the tracks, and we're going to have percussion lessons coming up, a whole new set for everybody. So stay tuned for that, because that's going to be amazing. Now, number 8. I'm scrolling through my notes here. I chose this life. I chose to be a good capoeirista and mestre. This goes back to the integrity thing. I chose this. So I'm not going to be saying like I feel sorry for myself. I'm not going to be saying like I feel shy. You know, I'm always asking people support. But that's because that's part of my job. If I was working in an NPO, I'd constantly be asking people to come to the NPO events, donate, support. It's just part of the industry, the job that I chose, the career I chose, the passion I chose. So I'm going to keep moving forward as a good mestre and a good capoeirista, and I hope those help me to lead by example always. And as you guys step into the weekend, check out some of the stuff that I've been putting up recently. To everyone who's always supporting, thank you. Lots of love, lots of patience, right? Lots of kindness. Thank you. Number 11, if life gives you a hashtera, get back up and jinga again. And I think this is where I'm going to cut it off, because life has given me enough hashderas, but recently I'm really able to just recover mentally, emotionally. My support system of the great people around me, of mestres, capoeira teachers around me, my family, my wife, the love of my life, everything is just really positive. Today, I've got a full day. We started off at 8 in the morning, had my cup of coffee, gonna hit it today, gotta train, do my rehab, finish up some tracks, do some promotion for what I do, publish this tonight, and then today I got 2 classes, kids and adults, and that'll end about 10. Welcome to the life of a capoeira mestre. Guys, lots of love, lots of peace, lots of capoeira. Mestre Sukuri, Mestre Vibes, Tokyo, Japan.